go camping, go fishing, and one day he wants to take me boating.
The baby-faced, blonde-haired kid that you see in this commercial for United Way's Big Brother and Big Sister program is 11-year-old Anthony Dustin McMillan. Just 7 years after this commercial aired on local television, Dustin and his family's lives would change forever. In August of 2001, then 18-year-old Anthony Dustin McMillan was sentenced to 31 years in the state penitentiary for armed robbery, a robbery that McMillan and his supporters insist he did not commit. A petition titled Help Bring Dustin Home is on change.org and has been signed by 560 people. The petition requests that Virginia Governor Ralph Northam issue a conditional pardon or reduce his sentence greatly. The petition outlines major discrepancies in Dustin's case. To outline a few, Dustin claims he was denied a lawyer and that he never confessed to the armed robbery of this 7-Eleven in Penn Laird, Virginia, and that the detective that said he confessed, former Harrisonburg Police Department investigator Kevin Whitfield, destroyed his original notes before trial, something that Dustin's sisters, left to right, Rachel and Tabitha, recall and corroborate.
The cop said the notes he had were destroyed. I would never think that that can happen, and said that they destroy them, that's protocol. So he had nothing that was supposedly an interview with my brother, and no notes from that day whatsoever. I just don't understand, like, how...
The detective was in the trial. They did speak with him. He was on the witness stand, or I guess it'd be the stand.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, like Tabitha said, it was invalid at that point. He said he destroyed his notes.
This is Danny Wall. He is Dustin's maternal uncle. He too remembers the detective admitting on the witness stand that he threw his notes away.
He got up there and he said, "No, I threw my notes away. The case is over with." And Walter said, "We're just starting the case. This is the case today."
Breaking Through also obtained a copy of the detective's testimony, and that transcript also shows that the detective admitted that his notes were destroyed before the trial. The petition alleges misconduct and poor representation by Dustin's lawyer, Walter Green. Danny Wall says the only good thing Walter Green did do for his nephew was to call several veteran investigators to the stand that testified that they have never destroyed their notes.
Like I say, the only thing he did really do, I think, that pointed out one thing was he got like 4 or 5 different officers to go on the stand, and he specifically asked them, "How long do you keep your notes?" And he said, "I've got my notes from the day I started working." And that was 15 years ago.
What really sticks out evidence-wise in the petition is, aside from the detective's claim that Dustin confessed, is that there was not a single witness or any physical evidence tying Dustin to the crime. According to the petition, even the clerk that was robbed couldn't identify Dustin, and none of his co-defendants testified that Dustin was involved in the robbery.
There was one lady that said, "I do not believe this boy did this."
That's the woman at the convenience store that was robbed.
Detectives also confiscated a pair of pants from Dustin's room, but no one at the scene of the robbery suggested that the robbers were wearing those pants, and neither did the video surveillance footage of the robbery.
They had a pair of pants. They said these were used in the crime. There was a patch on the pants. There was nothing in the video to show a patch on pants.
They were just plain black. They even said they were plain black pants. And you saw again where we're all confused. Well, those pants aren't what you just described, but you're showing us that put these in evidence, because they did get those from Dustin's room. But they weren't the pants that they had even described, or you could see, like you said, you feel like the video wasn't even these.
You could not see any markings or any notification of it to be said that this is this person wearing these pants.
Breaking Through contacted Kevin Whitfield, whom ironically is no longer a law enforcement officer and manages a small wilderness store in Waynesboro, Virginia. After several messages to Whitfield's personal and business Facebook accounts, he finally called me. Once on the phone, Whitfield told me that he didn't remember the case, but after a few reminders, he said he did remember the case, but because my report was about the petition, that he would have to contact Commonwealth's Attorney Marsha Garce for permission to interview with me. Before we hung up, he told me that he would contact me with an answer, even if it was no. Immediately after my conversation with Whitfield, I contacted Rockingham County Commonwealth's Attorney Marsha Garce via email, requesting her to give permission to Whitfield to interview with me about Dustin's case. That was last week, and neither Garst nor Whitfield have contacted me since then. All of Dustin's co-defendants were sentenced to 16 years or less, despite one of them having 6 more charges than Dustin. Dustin, however, received 31 years and has many more to serve. 16 years ago, when Dustin got locked up, his girlfriend was pregnant with his child. Dustin now has a 16-year-old son that he has never been able to be a father to.
The saddest is my brother's son, because he's grown up without his dad. And I feel like we're a very close family, and just the time missed, holidays and stuff, and you don't get that back.
During his time in prison, Dustin has completed his GED, custodial, maintenance, and carpentry trade programs. He has not committed any acts of violence in the past 16 years and has remained on good behavior and has no ties to gangs. For the record, it must also be noted that in the petition, it says he has had a job every day since 2004, doing jobs like janitor, library aide, Rosetta Stone aide, library clerk, and his most recent job for the past several years has been prison newsletter reporter.
He's served his time.
Exactly.
He should be home.
If I thought that he really did all this, I would have threw him under the bus and let him go. Because my belief is, if you do the crime, then be willing to do the time. And I would never spent the money that I spent if I thought he was guilty.
I never thought I would live a life without my brother in it. I never thought that would happen.
If you'd like to view or sign the Change.org petition to bring Dustin home, you can find a link in the comments section under this story. Here's Dustin in a phone interview with Breaking Through from Lawrenceville Penitentiary.
And I'm going to get out of here, whether it's 2 days, 2 years, or 10 years. I'm going to get out of here. It won't make a difference.
In the Breaking Through newsroom, Theodore Whitelow for Breaking Through.